Hi, I'm Dawn, and this is where Shabby meets Bling. I've done the thrifting, but now it's time to flip.
This is Thrifted Finds and Flips, rustic, primitive, and vintage. I would like to thank my co-host, Shelly, from Repurposed My Way. You're going to find the links to her channel and this playlist in my description box below. You may remember in this video that I told you that I had a really good friend of mine give me a couple decent sized boxes of vintage bottles. I did use some in that video, some that I could get clean, really clean. Well, there are so many that will not come clean. The inside, I don't know what they put in them back then. Well, I guess I do. Some have it written on the bottle. But I want them clean. And modern day cleaners will not take out the residue in some of these bottles. You might not be able to tell it on a video, on digital, but there's fine scum in the inside of all these bottles. I'm gonna do something to these bottles where you won't know the inside is still dirty. I am going to transform them in a way that you won't ever see that. I'm going to make them look like vintage Mercury Glass. So, how hard could it be, right? I've got an idea and I think it'll work. I did try one last thing to try to get the inside clean, and of course it did not work. So I'm going to proceed with my shenanigans. See here? You can see right there with it wet inside, the scum that's on the inside that would not come out. So I feel justified in doing what I'm doing. I created a weighted 2-tier box system with straws coming out the top to hold my bottles so they wouldn't tip over. And now I'm going to give them a really good coat of spray paint, with the exception of one bottle. One bottle's just going to get lightly misted. I am going to begin by using a Krylon metallic brilliant silver. The large bottle that's closest to me is the one that's just getting lightly misted, because I'm going to do something real special with that guy. After I finish getting my first 3 bottles misted, I will turn my attention to the other 3 and give them their first coat, and they will all be getting a very healthy coat of this brilliant silver. There is a mirror spray paint, and if you happen to have it, use it. But I don't have any, and it is rather costly. That's why I'm using this gorgeous brilliant silver instead. When finished, I will set them aside to dry thoroughly. Some of these bottles have embossed words on them. That's why I am doing what I'm doing right now. I have jumped into Canva and I am going to try to emulate these bottles. How cool are these? And yep, I am going to try to write on the bottles to make them look like they were actually embossed in glass on the bottle when it was originally made. I scrolled through the fonts until I found one that was similar to the bottle. Then I typed it out, got some emulsion, and I spaced them just like they were on the bottle. The letters are not super close. So I added an extra space in between each letter, and then I printed it out. And this is what you get. I need to cut it out and add a little bit of painter's tape to it and get it inside my bottle. Now, I have done this before, but I've never done it with my actual template on the inside of an item. I've done it on cardboard, I've done it on paper, and this time I'm going to do it directly onto glass. Once my template's cut out, I will add a piece of painter's tape to the bottom of it, and I am going to very carefully insert it into that bottle I told you I was going to do something special to. By using not only my knife, but the end of a paintbrush, I was able to feed the template down into the bottle and make sure that the tape was stuck to the inside of the bottle so my template would not move. And just to be sure it didn't move, I added one more piece of painter's tape. Now for the real fun. Now I am going to use my dimensional paint and I am going to trace each and every one of these little letters. Once I'm totally done with this bottle, I will remove my template. but not for quite some time. Once all my letters have been traced, I will set this aside somewhere safe, away from the kitty cats, and I will let it dry overnight. And then it will get another really good coat of that silver spray paint. 3 of my bottles have the screw top at the top. Where else would it be, right? But they don't have lids, and I only have a replacement lid for one of them. My solution is to make these compatible for a different type of lid. I am getting rid of those threads that will accommodate a cap. I am using some lightweight spackling. This I picked up at the Dollar Tree, so it's not my real good one time. This is a little bit thicker, a little meatier, and it's doing the trick just fine. I am going to fill in all of the threads and then set this aside to dry. Here we are. It filled in pretty darn nice, and it is dry, and now I'm going to sand it smooth. If I have any imperfections anywhere in the top of this little bottle, I will fill it in once again with my spackling, and I will set it aside to dry and then re-sand it until it is as smooth as I want it to be. And then this bottle, along with another one that I'm filling in, will get a second coat of that silver spray paint. I want my bottles to have this type of look, so there's a couple more steps to get them there. I will be using a Rust-Oleum metallic flat soft iron and a matte metallic Arctic gray to get that speckled look on my bottles. I am not spraying this spray paint, I am spitting this spray paint. You can see how it's going on in little tiny specks and globs. This is giving me the look I want. After this coat has dried, I will give it multiple coats of Krylon clear glaze. This is basically a glaze that you don't have to fire, and it will come out having a high gloss finish. This cap I grabbed off of a bottle that was heading into the recycle bin. I could not believe my luck when I realized that it fit absolutely perfect on my emulsion bottle. I am going to scruff it up a bit, I'm going to paint it black, and I'm going to add real rust to it. Yes, real rust out of my rusting bucket. I will also be gluing these 2 corks together and sanding them down to make them extraordinarily smooth. And yes, you can sand cork. And then I will be combining a cork with this little dowel rod and this little bead to create yet another stopper. While tooling around my favorite resale shop, I found this old Minnow Bucket. Isn't it cool? I mean, it is so cool. I saw a few of them online, and mine does not have the graphics on it like this one or these. Mine's more like this. Even plain, they go for a decent amount of money. But do you think I paid much for it? Heck no, I paid $2. I love the old rustic feel of this. The wire's rusted, there's a little bit of rust on the bottom, but there also happens to be a very large dent in the side. And a little dent here and there, no big, but this big dent is got to go. So I am using the handle of my wire cutters and my hammer to try to hammer it out just a little bit. Once I make as much progress as possible, I'm going to turn my attention to some embellishments for this little Minnow Bucket. In a recent video, I made some flowers and I loved them. I really liked the way they came out. So I am going to build on that basic flower shape that I used in that other project. I am going to be layering different size flowers on top of each other to create dimension. I am using fondant cutters to create my flowers. I also used a round fondant cutter to designate the center of this flower. Now I'm using the blade of my scissors, the dull side, to create petals, individual petals, and details within those petals. Once all the details have been finished, I will cut the center completely out of the flower. and I will keep it because it will get used. As usual, I am using flower clay to create all of my flowers. I repeat the same process on the smaller flower that will get layered on top. I am using one of those cutout circles to create the center of each and every one of my flowers. I am using the ends of my scissors this time to create detail. Now for some leaves to go with my flowers. I will be using fondant cutters to make the leaves as well. Once I get a leaf cut out, I use a very, very thin dowel, curving it slightly to create the middle vein of each of my leaves. I use that same dowel, but straight to create the outer veins. Once I have all my flowers and leaves detailed, I'm going to set them aside to dry for just a little bit, and then we're going to paint them. My inspiration for how I wanted to paint my flowers came from Midwest artist Isabel Bloom. She was born in 1908 and passed in 2001. She was most well known for her concrete sculptures. They are still producing her works of art to this very day. My inspiration came from the color palette of those concrete sculptures. All of those beautiful shades of gray are going to play real nice with my Minnow Bucket. I begin by giving everything a thorough coat of Crafter's Collection Antique Nickel. Once I have all of my embellishments coated front and back, I set them aside to dry. Now for coat number 2. This will only go on the front of each of my embellishments. This paint is a Decor Americana acrylic paint in the color of Gray Sky. For this coat, I am using just a little bit of paint in a stippling motion, and then I come back and do a tiny bit of dry brushing. Since not much paint is being used, I'll be able to start the third coat as soon as I finish this coat. And for that third coat, I will be using another Decor Americana acrylic paint, this time in the color of Slate Gray. I will be treating this coat the exact same way as I did the second coat. And once this coat is dry, I'm going to come back with my original paint color, that Crafter's Collection Antique Nickel, and lightly dry brush each and every one of my embellishments. Once I'm finished painting, I will glue all of the embellishments together and onto my Minnow Bucket with 3-in-1 glue. If you intend to use this outside, you will have to spray it with a protective coating. Because my Minnow Bucket has rusty wire features, I thought maybe I would add some rusty wire features of my own. I will use some rusty wire and my jewelry making tool to create some scrolly vines. Then I will use my 3-in-1 glue to adhere them to my bucket. One last thrifted item. I picked up this huge old metal funnel for just $2 at my local resale shop. I love this shop, but sadly it's only open one day a week. Now, you may remember this. This is the insert to my angel food cake from this video. Yeah, well, I saved it. You know I did. Well, I am gonna combine the two. But before I do anything, I'm going to take a cork. Yes, a cork. And I'm going to cork the bottom of my funnel. That way, when I put plants in here, yes, I'm going to put live plants in here, this will help with drainage. All the water won't go out, but water can escape. I'm going to push that cork down there nice and tight, and then I'm going to add my angel food cake insert. The insert will do two things for me. It will act as a frog for stem flowers, live or artificial, and it will act as a platform where I could sit a potted plant. Now I can use this indoors and I can use it outdoors. This is rustic and elegant and just so darn easy. I picked up these baby breath bushes at Hobby Lobby on clearance for 75% off. They were in the his and her section, and I thought they would be a beautiful temporary fix in my big old funnel until I can get a real plant. To see even a third way of how I've used funnels, check out this video. I'll have all the links in the description box below.
My projects are complete. They've been thoroughly flipped. Let's take a look.
What do you get when you combine a cork, a funnel, and a cake pan? You get a planter, a wall planter, and it looks like this. It looks so darn pretty on my brick wall, but I think it'll look even better in my garden with a live plant inside. Here's that Minnow Bucket before, dense and all. And let's take a look at her now. Well, how much better is that, right? I am so pleased with the way this came out. I had an idea in my head, and when it all came together, just like it did in my thoughts, I was so darn pleased. I love when that happens. I even added detail on the inside of the lid. Here I have it sitting on an outdoor plant stand, but you could easily hang it from a shepherd's hook, an S-hook, or even a chain. It is a lantern after all. Let's see what it looks like inside, fully lit.
Sammy, come here. Come here, baby. Come on, Sammy. 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 Come on, baby. How are you? Are you gonna have babies this year? Yeah? You gonna have some babies for me and bring them to see me? I think you should.
That little visit with Sammy took longer than I planned, but it always does. Now I'm back inside and I have my Minnow Bucket lit. Look how pretty that looks with the lights coming through those holes. I think the colors that I painted those flowers and leaves totally complement that old rusty minnow can. And look at my little scrolly vines. There's a couple of them if you saw. And I like the fact that if I leave the lid up, I can put a real candle in here, not just a battery operated one. One last thing to look at, those old bottles. They have gone from uncleanable to unbelievable. And to think I almost donated them. I really did. So glad I didn't. This one in particular, the Bo Peep, it was in my donation box to take to Goodwill next time I went. And now I'm gonna keep it. Here's the one with the imitation embossed glass and the real rusty lid. Those letters look a lot like the embossing on those other bottles, and it only took a paper template and some dimensional paint. And it was fun. I love doing this technique. Take a look at the little bottle behind. That's the one that I added the faux top to. I don't think you'd have a clue that that wasn't originally part of the glass design. Here you can see the high gloss finish that I achieved on these bottles. There's even a reflection of that copper tray on the bottom of all those bottles. And look at the reflection of the lights from above. They look so pretty inside, but just as pretty outside as little vases in my garden. I am just so happy with the way these came out. I'll be doing this technique on some other items for sure. This has been Thrifted Finds and Flips, Rustic, Primitive, and Vintage. Thanks again to Shelly for joining me tonight. You're going to find the links to her channel and this playlist in my description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, make a comment, and share it with someone that you think might enjoy it as well. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and make sure to check out my shop on Etsy. Ring the bell for notifications of all my upcoming videos, and subscribe. It's a great way to support my channel, as is joining. You get special perks if you're a member. But for now, this is Dawn with Shabby Meets Bling. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.